Deal with the Eberechi exit to Arsenal transfer hijack. Arsenal looks like they are set to obviously lose out onto a guy who they've gone ahead to be chasing in for some long time in there, and it goes by the names of Eberechi exit. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. There too, here we goes. One to Everton, and that he is a player known as Grealish, and the other one, Kingsley Coman, is here we go to Al-Nassr, joining Cristiano Ronaldo, Inigo Martinez, and very many others into the mix. Rokani David is my name, and I'm here to present you the opening story of the day, and hope you guys are really ready to perceive this in the best mode possible in here. And we are here charged, and hope you guys are really gonna be enjoying this video. I know, Arsenal fans, this will piss you off, but my job is to bring you the news and really get deep into the reality of the day. Now, the reality of the day is Arsenal are really losing out on a player, and their rival is really in and is using the longhorn method to obviously coming through and do the needful to obviously take it out, or to take it out of their hands. Now, Fabrizio Romano, understand Tottenham are back in talks for Eberechi in separate deal from Savinho. Spurs trying again for Eze while they work on Savinho following Maddison injury and Son exit. Eze keen, but deal depends on Palace as release clause expired. Now, Arsenal has had all the time to obviously get this deal over the line, but they've not gone ahead to obviously see to it that they really produce the best of the best, you know. And Eberechi Eze had a release clause of 68 million euros, 68 million pounds, and it expired. That is like 2 weeks back. And when it expired, that's when we thought that Arsenal would go in to obviously lodge a bid. And Jacobs Ben was one of those who told us that the previous week, Arsenal would put in a bid of 55 million pounds on the table of Crystal Palace for the services of Eberechi Eze, but it never really went on as planned. And guess what? It really never really happened. And this is why Spurs have like, let's obviously get in for Eze. Now, Jacobs Ben said Spurs in fresh talks for Eberechi Eze, as Paul Hefty one called. Spurs have decided not to move earlier in the window because James Maddison's injury. Spurs had decided not to move earlier in the window, but James Maddison's injury means the Palace attacker is now a genuine target. Arsenal still hold interest. No bid to Palace as of Monday evening. So Arsenal still holds interest in a player known as Eberechi Eze. There is no doubt about that. They're really interested, and them being really interested obviously means a lot to we the people who really know what transfers are all about. And not until you see your player holding the shirt number announced, you know, you cannot come out and say that it's done and dusted. You understand? You can't come out and say it's done and dusted. You know, you can't come out and say the deal is done and dusted. We know that because way back we used to say, here we go alone is enough. But right now, here we go alone is not enough. I can give you a scenario of a deal that really slipped through the hands of Tottenham Hotspur for Gibson White. Gibson White was a player that obviously came in through and really looked good. Spurs went ahead to agree everything with him, conducted a medical, and they even reached a level of announcing him. But Nottingham went ahead and reported Spurs that they breached the regulations, the rules and regulations for signing a player, and the player went ahead to go back to Nottingham, and he went ahead to renew his contract, and is not a Tottenham Hotspur player. You understand? So that's how things really happen. You know, that's how things really plan out. So here we go alone is not enough. Not until we see a player holding a jersey, announcement, and registered on the Premier League portal for that particular club. That's when you can come out and say, all right, you know. But right now, Eberechi Eze can be a player for the side of Eberechi Eze can be a player for the side of Spurs or Arsenal. And Sammy McBo has said Arsenal have interest in Eze, but the club are currently looking at trying to move players on. With the likes of Leandro Trossard, Reece Nelson and Fabio Vieira set to leave. So Arsenal is really working tooth and nail to see to it that the players are really sold. And these players are Leandro Trossard, Reece Nelson and Fabio Vieira. And that's when they'll obviously be willing to launch a bid to see to it that they bring in a player known as Eze. And for Spurs, they do have their money with them. And I just can't wait to see where Eberechi Eze is going to be playing next. But if Arsenal ever miss out on Eberechi Eze, it will be their own making. And they will be the ones to blame. You know? They'll be the ones to blame. Because Eze has gonna hate, obviously, you know, give them everything they really want, you know, and he's like, I'm not obviously going there. You understand? I'm not going there. I want to go to Arsenal. And by the way, Arsenal would have gonna hate to do Eberechi Eze very bad because Eze has given out poured his heart all out for the club of Arsenal. And now what Arsenal have to do is they have to give this player an assurance that they'll have to sign him, you know, like United went ahead to do to Cunha and Mbeumo, you know. If they give him the assurance that they are coming for him and they're willing to do everything, I think the player will obviously snub all other teams and will come in through and obviously wait for Arsenal until they come in through and sign him, you know. But without that assurance, I tell you, the player might obviously go to Spurs, and by today, you know, we might see to it that a lot happens. But I really trust Andre Batha. I trust him a lot because he's that kind of player. He's that kind of sporting director who has a lot of options. He might obviously go in for Rafael Leao. There is Malik Fofana and very many others. So, looks like Arsenal are not in a hurry to bring in Eze, but for me, I believe Eze is one of those players that Arsenal should be having because he's a different kind of talent altogether. You know, the fact is they haven't gone ahead to cool their interest in Eberechi Eze. That's the most important bit of it all, and that really speaks volumes. That the side of Arsenal still has the interest in the player. So Arsenal fans, don't get worried. Arsenal is still in the race, but Spurs might obviously act as a catalyst for this deal to happen, because if Spurs come in through, that will be a wake-up call to the club of Arsenal that please, your player can obviously be signed. So Arsenal can also do the needful and obviously put in the required shift altogether, as they've always gone ahead to do. So we are waiting to see how things really pan out. All I know is that Arteta is a big fan of Eberechi Eze, and the man himself at Arsenal is also a big fan for Eberechi Eze. And Eze wants to go to Arsenal. But for Arsenal, it will be very shameful that a player that you've gone ahead to love for so long has obviously gone ahead to decide and really sign for your nemesis, you know. And this is a battle that Arsenal is supposed to win, because if the player goes to Man City, Man United, it's okay. But if Eberechi Eze crosses to a side called Spurs, you know, Arsenal is playing Spurs twice in the league, you know, can you even think of the chance that are obviously going to be coming from the fans of Spurs, you know, when Eberechi Eze is donned into that Spurs jersey, you know? And the other thing is that if he goes to Spurs, there will be no other chance for Arsenal to ever sign this player. That chance will never be there. You understand? It will never be there anymore. That is it. Because Spurs cannot sell a player to Arsenal and vice versa. I think the last player that went ahead to do that was Sol Campbell, because he was a free agent. So, you understand my line of, you understand where I'm coming from, right? So, that is it for the side of Eberechi Eze to Arsenal. The hijack is on. Spurs are trying to hijack Eberechi Eze to Arsenal deal. And I don't know how thick and fast Arsenal is going to act. But all in all, it's really important that we really bring you the latest about this deal, not so? So let's get to the other story. It's all about Fabrizio Romano again with the here we go, and he told us that Jack Grealish, Everton, here we go, loan deal agreed with Man City and medical booked later today. Grealish said yes to Everton Football Club project and is now set to complete his move in the next 24 hours. New addition for David Moyes. Now, Jack Grealish is one of those players that came in through at an astronomical price from Aston Villa to the side of Man City, and Villa went ahead to reap huge from that deal. £100 million is what Spurs spent onto a player known as Jack Grealish. And I tell you what, it was one of those moments that you could think City had taken in a very good player. But I tell you what, he hasn't gone ahead to live to his expectation, because he hasn't really done anything great at the side of City. That's why some 3 years later, the player is up for sale. Has departed, and not him is really willing to obviously cash in for him, and they're all like not interested. You know, he has been at Man City for 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons, and the highest goal scoring season for him at City is 5 in 28 games. You understand? That is Jack Grealish for you. And I've gone ahead to see people talk bad about Anthony, but I think Anthony has gone ahead to obviously have a better scoring season in the Premier League than a man known as Jack Grealish. You know, when you look at Anthony, came in through at £85 million. In the Premier League, Anthony scored 4. You know, so they're almost in the same bracket. But because of English media protecting their players, they can never come out and obviously let you tell you the truth. But the truth is, these players are almost the same. You know, Sancho, people are really trying to really ridicule Sancho, but I want those who are really ridiculing Sancho to obviously do the same and ridicule a player called Jack Grealish, because for £100 million, if you've gone ahead to score 8, 9, 12 goals in 4 seasons in the Premier League, that is really banger average. It's really worse, and that means you are a flop. And for everyone who thinks that Jack Grealish is not a flop, you can come and challenge me. But I tell you this, the lad is a flop. He flopped. That's why he is going to a team known as Everton. And his performances at Everton will obviously give us a right picture or a good picture of where he's supposed to be playing at. Because if you are a guy and you're playing for a team like Man City and you're not performing yet, when you're Aston Villa, you are performing, and then you go ahead to obviously join another mid-table club like Everton and you perform, that means you are a mid-table player. You are not meant for the big occasions in there. You understand? So I'm waiting to see how things will pan out for this deal of a man known as Jack Grealish, but he's joining Everton and he's joining David Moyes. I think it's going to be a good addition. And I remember at the side of Aston Villa, when he was playing there, he used to be played as a central attacking midfielder. But at City, I've gone ahead to see Pep play him as a left attacking midfielder. I think his best performances, best coming through, and he's really playing at the center of the pitch. That is Jack Grealish for you. But if you play him as a wide left, I don't think that he really benefits you. At Villa, when he was at Villa, I think he used to play a lot as a central attacking midfielder. And that's why he starts at Villa. Went ahead, obviously, calling for the interest of City to sign the player, because the last season he was at Villa in 2020-2021, he played 26 games, scored 6 goals and put in 10 assists. So he was really a creative player, you know, and he used to obviously score goals and really looked quite good. But at City, for the lion's share of the time he was going to spend there, he has been played as a left forward. Obviously, he doesn't thrive into that position anymore. That is it. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Smash the like button, comment and share. And let's obviously talk to you about Coman, Kingsley, who has finally gone ahead to leave Bayern Munich. I think for the previous 2 seasons, rumors have been there that the player is leaving. But finally, he has gone ahead to leave. And breaking, Kingsley Coman to Al-Nassr, here we go. Deal agreed with Bayern Munich for package, slightly under 30 million euros. Coman will sign a 3-year deal at Al-Nassr, part of a ambitious project after Inigo, Martinez, and João Felix. Medical and signature this week. Now, I think now the mission of Cristiano Ronaldo to score 1,000 career goals is on. And this season alone, Ronaldo can net like 50. Why? Because of the people that are obviously going to be playing around him. Trust me, João Felix is going to be the starting 11 of Al-Nassr. Coman is going to be the starting 11 of Al-Nassr. Now, those two can really create a lot for Ronaldo. And that's why you saw to it that Ronaldo wanted to convince Kevin De Bruyne to come and join him. He wanted to convince Bruno Fernandes to come and join him. He thinks that he needs a more elusive, creative force to obviously create chances for him. He needs those chances in plenty because he wants to obviously hit the milestone of 1,000 goals. Because he knows to it that after the World Cup, he might not continue. He might retire from football as a player in there. You understand? So, the side of Kingsley Coman has gone ahead to join Al-Nassr. Good player, but I think it was time for him to leave Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich doesn't have him in their plans and they're thinking otherwise. But he has done his worth. I think he has a Champions League with him at Bayern Munich. That is a player known as Kingsley Coman. And the big question is, can he be called from Saudi Arabia to represent for the French national team at the World Cup? My answer is yes, because I've gone ahead to see N'Golo Kante called to play a big part in the French national team when he's playing in Saudi Arabia. That is it. So, we wish the best to Kingsley Coman joining with Ronaldo, and also we wish the best to a player known as Jack Grealish, who is now going to be an Everton player. But English media will never come out and tell you that Man City came up and really made a very big loss. So guys, I'm calling in for your reactions into the comment section below about one. Do you think Jack Grealish flopped at City? You know, I know people won't really be focusing a lot on it because this guy came up and obviously he won a treble with City. You understand? You know, and I think there is a game where he scored a very important goal. You understand? But to me, he's a flop. I don't know to you. Is he a flop or is not a flop? Talking about Jack Grealish. Then, do you think it was a wise move for Kingsley Coman to obviously go ahead and really join the side of Al-Nassr? Would he have explored any other deal? Because when you look at his age, you know, he has lived here for so long, and he's just 29 years of age, and he turned 29 this year. Would he have gone ahead to explore other deals in the top 5 elite leagues? Because I believe if he offered himself to other Premier League clubs, they would have gone ahead obviously pick out on him. You know, he was once even linked to a side known as Barcelona. You understand? Then you can as well come out and really let me know your thoughts about Eberechi to Arsenal transfer Hijack. And guess who is hijacking this deal? It's none other than the biggest Arsenal rival, that is Tottenham Hotspur. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. But it has been nice having or talking to you. We open up our day with a 20-minute video that you guys obviously going to be enjoying. Action-packed, discussing Eze, talking Kingsley Coman, talking the flop at City known as Jack Grealish. For me, over to you in here. You understand? Rokani David remains my name. I think I'm obviously going to go to TikTok and obviously do that video for Eberechi Eze, and I'll be waiting in for your reactions into the comment section below. We out. Bye bye.